Have you ever really stopped to wonder where our idea of hell actually comes from? For thousands of years, it's been a story told in a million different ways. But believe me, it wasn't always about fire and brimstone.
Hades, Sheol, Jahannam, Naraka. These are just a few of the names for the underworld, words whispered across history and all over the globe. Each one, well, it opens a door into a completely different vision of what might be waiting for us when this life is over.
So why are we so fascinated by this? What do all these different visions of the afterlife really tell us about our ideas of justice, of morality, and maybe even our biggest fears? Let's dive in and explore how the concept of hell has evolved.
Okay, so first things first. We need to completely forget that popular image of a fiery pit. Seriously, because for a lot of ancient cultures, the underworld was something else entirely, a place not of punishment, but of shadow.
Yeah, that fiery hell you see in movies and pop culture, that's a pretty recent invention, relatively speaking. The earliest concepts were way more, well, equal, if a little gloomy. It wasn't about divine justice, it was just the final destination for absolutely everyone.
So in early Jewish thought, for instance, you have Sheol. This wasn't a place of suffering. It was more like this vast, silent dormitory, deep down in the earth, where all souls, good, bad, didn't matter, went to just rest, in the dark. No judgment, no rewards, just an eternal, quiet stillness.
And you see a pretty similar idea with the ancient Greeks, right? They had Hades. For the vast majority of people, it was this dim, kind of dreary place where spirits, they called them shades, just wandered around, mostly forgetting who they even were. Again, it wasn't about punishment. It was just the simple, somber end of being alive.
Okay, so if the afterlife started as this neutral, shadowy place for everybody, when did it get so, fiery? Well, the answer really lies in the rise of a brand new idea, divine justice. This started to totally reshape the map of the underworld. As societies got bigger and more complex, so did the desire for some kind of cosmic order, a feeling that your actions should have ultimate consequences.
And what's really fascinating is you can actually trace this shift right here on this timeline. The Greeks were kind of the first to carve out a special section of Hades, they called it Tartarus, just for the absolute worst of the worst. Then, a bit later, in Second Temple Judaism, a very real, literally burning trash dump called Gehenna became this powerful metaphor for God's fiery judgment. This thinking then directly helped formalize hell in early Christianity, as a key part of its eschatology, that's just its theology about the end times, and it also shaped the Quran's descriptions of Jahannam as a place of very specific, tiered punishment.
But are all of these fiery afterlives the same thing? Oh, not at all. Take a look at this first row, primary purpose. For many Christians, hell is all about eternal punishment. Now compare that to the third column, Naraka, where the whole point is actually the purification of karma. The philosophy is totally different. And here's the really crucial part. Check out the second row, duration. While we often think of hell as being forever, Jahannam in Islam can be temporary for believers. And Naraka is explicitly a temporary stop before reincarnation. So the main takeaway is that not all hells are meant to last forever, which tells you a lot about a culture's view on redemption.
It wasn't just about where you ended up. The journey to get there was often a whole trial in itself. For a lot of cultures, getting to the afterlife meant you had to survive a dangerous trek and then face some kind of final judgment.
And the ancient Egyptians, wow, they had this whole process laid out. After this dangerous journey, your soul had to stand in front of the gods and recite the negative confession, basically declaring you were innocent of 42 different sins. Then came the final test. Your heart was weighed on a scale against the feather of truth. If your heart was heavy with sin and tipped the scales, you weren't sent to a hell. You were just eaten by the demon Amit. Your existence was over, forever.
This idea of a final test shows up in other places too. In ancient Persia, Zoroastrianism gives us this incredibly powerful metaphor for that moment of judgment, the Chinvat Bridge. Your own morality decides your fate. If you are righteous, the bridge is wide and easy to cross into paradise. But if you are wicked, it narrows down to the width of a razor's edge, and you inevitably fall off into the abyss below.
So after this whole journey through these different underworlds, what does it all really mean? Well, it seems like our visions of the afterlife are maybe less about what happens after we die, and a whole lot more about who we are, right here and right now.
Even today, the idea of hell just keeps evolving. As you can see from the chart, while some people still see it as a literal place, a lot more folks interpret it as a state of being, a spiritual separation from good,
or even as this powerful metaphor for the suffering we create and experience right here on Earth, whether it's through war, injustice, or just our own internal battles.
And this quote, I think, just hits the nail on the head. The way a culture imagines hell really reveals what it values most, what it considers the worst possible crime, what true justice looks like, and what it's most afraid of. It's not a roadmap, it's a mirror, reflecting our own moral landscape right back at us.
And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. Whether we see the afterlife as a place of rest, or punishment, or purification, or just a metaphor, the real question is, what does that vision say about us, here and now? What ideals of justice are we trying to live up to? And what are the deepest anxieties we're all trying to make sense of?